Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sabrina and today I have a story for y'all about the time that my husband's friend tried to sleep with me. And I also have my Naked 3 palette just for some extra tingles. Before we get into the story, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss an upload. Also, if you want to see more of my life outside of ASMR, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to link my Instagram and Twitter in the description box, as well as my last storytime video. So if you didn't catch that, you should check it out. It's about the time that I stole a cop's golf cart. So all that'll be in the description box. Last, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So this happened when my husband and I first started dating. His name is Will. So this happened when Will and I first started dating. It was like a few years ago. I have a little bit of backstory before I get into the actual, like, him trying to sleep with me. So the first 8 months of mine and Will's relationship was long distance. He lived in Dallas, I lived in San Antonio, and we would visit each other most weekends, but not every weekend. So this one weekend he was in San Antonio visiting me, and we were gonna go out with one of his friends. We'll call him Carter. So it was me and Will, Carter, and like some of Carter's friends, and we all went out to a bar. And something happens when I start drinking and like I'm out with guy friends. I turn into this like amazing wing woman. I don't know what my agenda changes, and it's like be a wing woman. So closer to bar closing, Carter and some of his friends saw this group of girls that they thought were pretty, and I happened to know one of the girls. I didn't know her well, but we like had each other on social media, and we like went to the same parties in high school. So that's like the extent of it. But I went up to her and said hi and invited her and her friends back to Carter's house to hang out with all of us like after the bar closed. And that friend is Rachel. We're gonna call her Rachel. So Rachel and her friends went back with us to Carter's house. We all hung out. That was that for that night. Fast forward a few weeks later, we all get like Facebook invites for a Christmas party from Carter and his roommate. And so Will and I talked about it, and for whatever reason he knew he wasn't going to be able to make it to San Antonio that weekend. But this was like earlier on in the relationship. We had been dating like less than 6 months, so like Christmas time would have made 6 months. So he knew he wasn't going to be able to come, but he was like, you should go. Like he, like wanted me to be friends with his friends and that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll think about it. So Rachel and I wound up talking about it, and it turned out she wanted to go too. So we like agreed to meet up at that party. So when that time came around, I had like another party that I had to go to earlier in the night, and then I like packed because it was like the their Christmas party was like ugly Christmas sweater or like pajama party or something like that, like something themey. So I packed this, I don't know if y'all have seen them, but like Victoria's Secret Pink has these Christmas onesies, and they're basically like long johns. They're like thermal like pants and long sleeve, but it's a onesie. So I guess that detail's pertinent for like later in the story. But yeah, so I got to Carter's, and Rachel was there, and I changed into my onesie. And by the time I got there, you know, I had been drinking, Rachel had been drinking, like Carter was drunk, pretty much everyone there was drunk. But it was a good time. It was like a really good party. And towards the end of the night, I remember I was sitting in the living room with Rachel, but I don't know if she was like with a friend or a guy or what, but I remember I was like feeling third wheel, and also it was like late and I was tired. So I ordered a Lyft so that I could go home, and I guess I was like kind of like, you know, like kind of like laying like it looked like I was tired, and Carter came up to me and he was like, "Hey, are you tired? Go lay down in my room. Like, you can sleep in my bed. I'm gonna sleep on the couch. Like, it's fine, whatever." And I was like, "No, that's okay. Like, I'm waiting on my Lyft. I'm gonna be leaving soon." But it was almost like he wasn't like computing what I was saying. He was like completely obliterated and just like insistent, like, "No, come on, like, come, you can sleep in my bed. I'm gonna sleep on the couch. I'm gonna sleep on the couch. I'm gonna sleep on the couch." I was like, I knew I wasn't gonna stay there, but I just like didn't want to like, cause a scene about it because he just was not hearing me. So I said okay, and I was thinking I'm gonna go up there and like wait for my Lyft and then leave. So he walks me upstairs to his room, and then he leaves the room, like goes back downstairs. And so I was like laying like on top of the covers on his bed, and I called Will, and I was just like, you know, like filling him in on the party, how the party was, and my party earlier. And I told him I was in Carter's room, and I told him how he like insisted I go up there. And so the thing about Carter, and I don't know if I knew this, this was one of my first, that party was like my second or third time meeting him. I want to say my second, maybe third, I don't know. But the thing about him is he's kind of like a hippie. He's kind of, you know, like he's like easygoing and doesn't take things too seriously, but with that, like, he may not, you know, take so seriously the fact that I was Will's girlfriend at the time. At least that's my interpretation of that situation and like of him. And I think Will has the same like understanding, I guess, he knows him better than I do. So, but I think he saw it similarly. He was like, so I told him what happened, and he was like, "Okay, well, I don't think you should stay there, babe." And I was like, "No, I'm not. My lift's on its way. Like, I'm just waiting up here." He was like, "All right, well, let me know when you get home, please." And I was like, "Okay." So next thing I know, I'm waking up to someone putting their arm like around my waist, like kind of coming in behind me, like almost a spoon. And so that woke me, and my first thought was, that's not Will. So I sat up and I'm like trying to get my bearings, and when I sat up, Carter like grabbed my waist kind of, you know, like to pull me back down, to lay back down. Obviously I didn't lay back down. I got up and I went downstairs. I don't know when's the right time to say this because it's kind of a weird thing to have to say, but you know, I barely knew him, so of course I had to think this thought. But the reason that the details about the onesie were pertinent was the fact that I know like nothing could have happened, you know, without me realizing it or anything like that. So I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to implicate anyone, because I'm not. That was like the extent of it. Nothing happened, but you know, I felt horrible, like for obvious reasons. You know, I was supposed to go home. I wanted to go home and I didn't. And then I found myself in a situation where I was in bed with someone who assured me they weren't going to sleep in their bed, whatever. If I had known he was going to come up even back to his room, I just like wouldn't have gone up there at all. Like I wouldn't have done it at all. The only thing that made me feel comfortable even waiting for the lift in his bed was the fact that he said he was sleeping on the couch that night. But you know, he was really drunk, so he probably didn't even remember. I don't know. Anyway, I went downstairs and I called Will, and it was probably like 5 or 6 in the morning by this time, and understandably he wasn't very happy, but like, I don't know, Will is like a total sweetheart. He is not like jealous. He's not the type to like be ugly or anything like that, but you know, he wasn't happy, and I think that he was more upset with Carter, but you know, he just like wasn't happy with me either. And when one thing I forgot to mention, like when I went downstairs, I had missed calls from Will and my Lyft driver, and missed texts from Will and my Lyft driver, and I had to like pay for missing my Lyft and all of that. And then, you know, it's like 5 or 6 in the morning and I'm trying to order a Lyft, and I had to wait like 45 minutes for one to even get there, and I was tired, and it was just horrible. So before filming this, I brought it up to my husband to kind of like get his side, like how was he feeling, and what he said was that he was like pretty upset, more at Carter, but he was upset with me too. I was like, well, did you believe me? Like, did you believe that nothing happened? He was like, yeah, I believed you that nothing happened, otherwise I wouldn't, we wouldn't have continued our relationship. But he said he was mad, but he liked me a lot. He liked me too much to let that like change how he felt about me. So thank God, because not every guy would be that way about it. I know that for a fact. Anyway, fast forward from this party. We'll fast forward, like, I don't know if it was a few months. You know what? It had to be, yeah, like a couple months later. Will was in town, and we went we went out to a bar with like a group of people, and Carter like showed up. He was also like with that group or whatever, and I brought my friend, one of my girlfriends, with me, and we both happened to be wearing like red shirts. And so when I said hi to Carter, he said something like, "Oh dang, when I first saw you I was like, who's that hot girl in the red shirt?" And I like made a joke like to play it off because my friend was wearing a red shirt too. I was like, "Oh, who? Sophie?" And he was just like, "Haha, no, you," like whatever. And I don't know if Will heard that, but I definitely told him. But that's like the kind of thing where he just like, I don't think he even cared if Will heard that, because that's just like kind of how he is. But what's worse is Will told me, I don't know how he said it, but Carter said something to him like something like, "I almost slept with Sabrina." Like, I almost slept with her. And Will was like, "Yeah, she told me about that." I was just thinking, like, imagine, I don't know, imagine if I hadn't told Will, or like if he were the jealous type or something like that. Like, that would sound really bad. That sounds like I was like willing or something, like I was like, I almost slept with him too. I don't know. But thank goodness Will and I have trust, and he knows the type of person that I am, or I know he does now, but like thank goodness he knew back then and like had the good sense to believe me. So yeah, that is my story about the time that my husband's friend tried to sleep with me. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you think of the story. And also, I mentioned in my last video, I don't know if you guys prefer that I do whisper videos or soft spoken. I try to do a little bit of both. I enjoy doing both. But if you have a preference, let me know. Or if you have any other comments, any other feedback, any questions about the story, anything like that, let me know. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.